Jesus, the Son of God. It's a term, or it's a concept that consistently needs to be hammered on. It needs to be emphasized on, because the understanding of it is getting, questioned time and time again, even from other religions. They say, well, if Jesus is the Son of God, then God must have a wife. The concept of Jesus being the Son of God doesn't make sense. And to add salt to injury, in the charismatic circles especially, we see some preachers saying that Jesus is not the only Son of God. I get that they are trying to say that, well, if Jesus is not the only Son of God, because we have also become children of God, and so Jesus is not the only Son of God. But when we articulate it that way, we injure our faith, because the article on which our faith stands on, or the Christian faith stands on, is the fact that Jesus is the Son of God. In Matthew chapter 16, when Jesus asked disciples, "Who do men say that I am?" Some say you are this, some say you are that. That was the response he got. Then he said, "Okay, but what about you? Who do you say that I am?" And Peter said, "You are the Christ," number one. Number two, you are the Son of the living God. So you are not only the Messiah, you are not only the anointed one, but you are also the Son of the living God. And Jesus said, "Flesh and blood didn't reveal this to you, but my Father in heaven." He said, "You are Peter, and upon this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." So the church, or the faith of the church, it stands on the foundation of Jesus being the Messiah, Jesus being the Christ, and the Son of the living God. So it's very important for us to understand that understanding the concept of Jesus being the Son of God is so necessary for our Christian faith. In Isaiah chapter 9, from verse 6, the Bible says that a child will be born, and a son will be given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders. He shall be called a mighty God, and all that. In Luke chapter 30, from verse 35, we see the angel appearing to Mary and telling her that you would conceive, and then you will give birth to a son, and he shall be called the Son of the Most High God. And so the concept of sonship starts building up from there. Times change, and when the first century person hears the Son of God, or a Jew in the first century hears the Son of God, the person immediately understands it. But in our times, the term has changed, and the way we think and the way we understand things have also changed. But what does it mean when we say Jesus is the Son of God? In John chapter 1 verse 14, the Bible says, "And the Word," of course, talking about Jesus, "became flesh and dwelt amongst us, full of grace and truth." He said, "We have beheld his glory as of the Son of the living God." And in the verse 18 of the same John chapter 1, he says that no one has seen God. The only God has revealed him. Other verses is the only Son of God has revealed him. So the phrase, the only, monogenes, is the unique Son of God has revealed him. So first of all, the sonship of God communicates, the sonship of Jesus Christ communicates the idea that he's the very revelation, the very imprint of God's person. In Hebrews chapter 1, we see that God spoke to our fathers in various and diverse ways, but in these last days has spoken to us. He has spoken, has revealed himself to us by his Son. Simple. He is the perfect imprint, the perfect expression of who God is. And so the idea of sonship starts getting, clearer when we see that Jesus being called the Son of God is because he's the very revelation of God. Jesus, in speaking about himself in John chapter 3 verse 16, said, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son," monogenes, the same word, unique Son of God. So Jesus' sonship is unique. It's that quality, the quality of his sonship is unique. The essence is unique. He doesn't share it with anybody. To mean that he being the Son of God, he being the revelation of God, and he being God. So when we say Jesus is the Son of God, it communicates the idea of Jesus being God and Jesus being the very revelation of God. Going back to the Old Testament in Daniel chapter 3, where Nebuchadnezzar casted or threw the three Hebrew boys into the fire, he made a statement. He said, "I see a fourth person." In the verse 25, he said, "I see a fourth person, one like the Son of the gods," or the Son of the gods. So the idea, if Jesus is the only Son of God, how about us? In the verse 12 of John chapter 1, it says that and all that believed in him, he gave the power to become children of God. Our relationship with God, as far as being his children is concerned, is by adoption. We were adopted, into the sheepfold or into the family of God. The concept of adoption it carries the notion that God is divine. The God is divine. We humans are not. And so for God to call us his own is God to incorporate us into his family. So God is adopting human beings into his family. Not that we will become gods, but that God will have a special relationship with man. We were just adopted into God's family. When you read Romans chapter 8 from verse 15, from verse 18 to 22, it speaks about the fact that we have not, those who are led by the Spirit are the sons of God, and we have not received the Spirit to fall back into slavery of fear, but we've received the Spirit of adoption, the Spirit of sonship, adoption, whereby we cry, Abba Father. So our adoption into the family of God is actually by the work of Jesus Christ on the cross. And so our sonship or our relationship to God as children is not the same as Jesus Christ. Remember, I said Jesus Christ, the very revelation of God. In fact, going back about Jesus being the revelation of God, when you read Matthew chapter 5 verse 9, where he says that blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. Jesus is not saying that you become a Christian when you have peacemaker, no. But he said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. It's communicating the idea that peacemakers reveal an aspect, of God, characteristics of God. He's a God of peace. He gives peace. So it emphasizes on the idea of when we say Jesus is the Son of God, the very revelation, the very imprint of God, totality of God is revealed in Jesus Christ. And so you cannot compare our relationship with God as far as we being children of God to Christ's sonship. You cannot compare. They are totally different. The adoption as sons also take a different turn, take a different concept in the verse 22 of Romans chapter 8, where the Bible says, where we are also hoping as believers, the manifestation of the sons. The creation itself is awaiting the manifestation of the sons. Creation is subjected under decay. Tomorrow a fly is here, tomorrow is gone. So creation itself is awaiting the manifestation of the sons of God. The manifestation of the sons of God is when the sons of God will be revealed and will be changed, in the age to come. And so we ourselves, we who have the Spirit, the first fruit of the Spirit, we ourselves we are awaiting that day, that special day, and that carries the concept of the resurrection, where we shall be changed, where this body of decay, this body of corruption, this body that dies, that is going away, wasting away, will be changed. And the Bible says that in this hope we were saved. In this hope we're saved. We've been adopted as sons of God, the redemption of our bodies. Adoption as sons, the redemption of our bodies. So the adoption as sons, first of all, carries the idea that we've been incorporated into God's family because of the work of Jesus Christ on the cross. And also, we have been promised a change, or we have been promised the manifestation. We have been promised, we've been glorified, we've been changed. So our sonship with Jesus Christ, our relationship with Jesus Christ has joined us with the Father is because of what Jesus did on the cross. But not that we have the same essence or we are in the same category when it comes to Jesus' relationship with God. He is the only Son of God. Jesus is still the only Son of God. We are children of God and we have been adopted into God's family. And so the idea of sonship, Jesus' sonship, shouldn't be a confusion if you try to put yourself into the context of a first century Jew or a first century person who understands when they say Jesus is the Son of God. That is why the Jews wanted to stone him. So you cannot say Jesus is not the only Son. He's the only Son of God. He's the way, the truth, the light. Is the only Son of God. We have been adopted into God's family. That's how come we are children of God. So Jesus is the only Son of God.